everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Nicola and I live in Thailand. Today I'm going to talk to you about scams. Now unfortunately there are a few scams going around in Thailand, so today I just wanted to tell you about my experience with them and my friends' experience with them, just so that if you come to Thailand, hopefully you will have more knowledge and you will not get scammed like we did, basically. You might just find this interesting to watch as well. So the first scam I'm going to tell you about today is one that I fell for straight away when I came to Thailand. So basically me and my friends and other people from the hostel decided we wanted to go to the Grand Palace. But we didn't just want to take a taxi there. We wanted to, make our own way there, being very eager young travellers. We decided to get the BTS and then a boat and then just rock up at the palace ourselves. So that went smoothly. We all arrived there. We were staring at the palace, and then suddenly several tuk-tuk drivers who are outside of the palace start telling us that the Grand Palace is closed today, and instead they are offering to take us to a few other temples instead. Now obviously we didn't know if the Grand Palace was closed a few days. We hadn't read anything that had warned us about this scam. So we looked at the palace and it had a big old wall around it, and we kind of just thought, well, maybe it is closed. Like, we didn't know and we couldn't see the entrance to it. As we later found out, it wasn't closed at all. So when the tuk-tuk start shouting that it is closed, don't believe them and just smile and laugh and then go into the Grand Palace. Don't get in their tuk-tuk because you're gonna miss out on seeing the Grand Palace, basically. And yeah, I've never actually been in there, which is quite sad because I could have gone on like my first day in Thailand. So the second scam I'm going to talk about today is also tuk-tuk related. Tuk-tuks tend to have a bit of a bad reputation in Thailand, and you can see why. So the next scam is the 5 baht tuk-tuk ride scam. So basically, a lot of tuk-tuks will tell you that they will take you all around Bangkok to see these amazing sights for only 5 baht. And obviously that sounds amazing, like, wow, you're gonna take me to all these places, for like an hour or 2 hours, and you're only gonna charge me 5 baht. That's incredible. Like, what's the catch? And that's the thing, there is a big catch. Like, it is an amazing deal, and if you don't care about the catch, then you could have a great day. But just be aware that once you get in that tuk-tuk, they are going to take you around and show you some amazing touristy places like temples and things like that. However, they will also take you to a few places that you really do not want to go. For example, silk shops. They will take you to a silk shop and basically push you in the front door and tell you that you must stay in there for 10 minutes so that they can get their commission, and then after that they will take you to somewhere else that you want to go. Which, I guess if you don't mind that, then that's fine. You're getting like a pretty cheap tuk-tuk ride, but it can be quite uncomfortable. Like, I don't like people being really pushy with me and telling me like that I have to stay somewhere for 10 minutes while people are trying to measure me for these like suits that they're trying to sell me. For me, that's really uncomfortable and I really don't like that situation, so I really didn't enjoy that. So yeah, just be aware of that one. Okay, and since we're on the theme of like taxi scams, I thought I'd tell you about the taxi scams next, which are slightly different from the tuk-tuk scams, even though a tuk-tuk is essentially a taxi. So there are a few taxi scams to be aware of. The main one being that obviously most taxis are supposed to charge you by the meter, but a lot of taxis will try and charge you a set price instead of putting on the taxi meter, which personally, sometimes I don't mind paying the set price because I feel like the meter is really, really low and taxi drivers are not earning a lot if they follow that meter all of the time. So personally, I don't mind paying the set price that some taxi drivers will charge you, basically because I don't mind paying it and it's still quite cheap. As long as it's not extortionate, then I don't mind paying that. But some people might mind that, so yeah, be aware of that one. But there are a few other little scams as well. One that happened to me was when I was coming out of Don Mun Airport, I was looking for a taxi, and then this guy basically comes towards me and says, taxi, taxi this way. So I followed him because I wanted a taxi, and when I arrived at his car, it wasn't a taxi at all. It was just a car. It was like a normal car, and he tried to take my bags off me so fast and put them in the back of his car. I had to stop him like really fast and just say, hang on a minute, this isn't a taxi. And when I said that, he looked quite annoyed, but then yeah, he accepted that, you know, I knew it wasn't a taxi and I wasn't going to fall for the scam, and then he basically ran off to try and look for someone else to scam probably. So just be aware of that. Like, some people will try and get you to go in their car when it's not actually a taxi. Another thing that happened to my friend with regards to taxis is she put all of her things in a taxi, and when she got in the taxi, she asked the guy to put the taxi meter on and he wouldn't. He was trying to charge her a set amount, which was really expensive. So she didn't want to pay that. So she decided that she wanted to get out of the taxi. So she got most of her things out of the taxi, but she still had her camera in the boot. And when she tried to grab it, the guy drove away. So yeah, my advice would be to make sure that you have agreed on the price before you get into the taxi and before you put your stuff into the taxi, because you don't want the taxi driver basically driving away with all of your stuff, which I've only heard of that happen to one of my friends. But please let me know in the comments if you have any experience of this, or if it's happened to you or your friend, because it's a good thing to be aware of. So moving away from taxi scams, but still on the topic of transport, the next one is the overnight bus scam, and this is a big one. I know of quite a few people who have had things stolen because of this scam. And it's basically, you get on the overnight bus and you put your things in the compartment under the bus, and during the night things get stolen, and you generally don't realize that things are missing until you get home and you look in your bag and you realize certain things are not there anymore, and they tend to go for like electricals and things like that. So my advice would be to keep all of your valuables with you at all times if you are going to take the overnight bus. I mean, keep them like in your pocket, like next to you at all times, because I also know of people who've had stuff stolen from the overnight bus, actually from the seating area as well. So when the bus stops, you know, for a toilet break or a snack break, people have had stuff stolen during that time as well. My friend had some money in a bag which he put under her seat. The money was in a small envelope right at the bottom of her bag, and that money was stolen. So even though she tried to hide it really well, it was still stolen. So make sure that you keep your money with you. I would also say try and use the government buses. I think the companies that have scams like this are often private companies. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think the government buses are fine. So the last scam that I'm going to talk about today is a bargaining scam, and this is quite funny to me now, but I can see how if you are new to being in Thailand that you could easily be tricked by this. Basically, if you go into somewhere and they tell you that you are getting a very special price that nobody else has ever gotten before, they will basically try and tell you to book now or pay now to secure this amazing deal. And yeah, obviously if somebody's trying to force you to buy something, that kind of screams that something isn't right. So those are all of the scams that I can think of right now, but if you have any information about any other scams that I haven't mentioned, then please do leave them in the comments down below so that we can all be aware of them. Also, if you have experience of any of the scams that I have mentioned, then leave a comment as well letting us know what happened to you. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all again very soon with another video. Bye!